What are 5 reasons that you're going to want to switch your MLM software provider? Hi, I'm Robert Proctor. For the last 20 years, I've been involved in the launch of over 1,000 network marketing companies. Unfortunately, today only 10% are still in business, 90% failed. I want to give you some tips and tools, some hints and suggestions to avoid being part of that 90% that failed, instead be part of that 10% that succeeded. So, as I said, I've launched over 1,000 companies, and yeah, honestly, we've lost some companies to other software providers over the years, and we've picked up software, companies from other software providers over the years. It's kind of a niche industry. There's not a lot of us out there, even though when you Google MLM software, you get 1,120,000 results. There's a handful of us here in the US that do it. It's a niche industry. And I want to give you some tips of what you want to look for to avoid migrating to another software company. Typically in our industry, most successful network marketing companies will go to 3 different MLM software companies before they finally pick the MLM software company they want to work with. So I want to give you some things to look for, hopefully that will avoid you having to switch once or even twice. First thing, relationship. We are in, if anything, this is a relationship industry. The days of years gone by in the 70s and even the 80s of the hard sell and the fear of selling, those days have gone by. This is a relationship industry, and you need to feel a comfortable relationship with the software provider that you're working with. You need to feel like they've got your back, that they understand what it is you're doing and why you're doing it, and they're not just in business to get money. They're in business to help empower you, to empower distributors and empower customers to purchase your phenomenal products and services, and most importantly, for those distributors to make sure commissions are paid on time. So make sure that it's a good relationship. Make sure that you got a warm and fuzzy, that it feels good, that it's something you're going to be able to work with. If you watch my other videos, I mentioned, it's not if there's going to be a problem, it's when there's going to be a problem. You're going to have a problem with every vendor you work with. Just like a relationship with your spouse or your kids, there's going to be challenges. Did you build that relationship on a good solid foundation that when you do have that problem, you're able to resolve it and go on the next day like nothing happened, and most importantly, learn from that relationship. So please focus on the relationship and feel good about it. Number 2, communications. There's actually 2 things, communications and mutually managed expectations. I think this is where most companies fail. Even looking at our own company, we constantly learn that communications and mutually managed expectations are the key to how well we do, to how well our day goes. First of all, communications. You've got to have a good method of communicating with the software company. You've got to be able to get on the phone. You've got to be able to go out of frame here, pick up the phone and text them. You've got to be able to get hold of somebody. They've got to communicate to you when something is done. Most importantly, they've got to be able to communicate with you when something is not done. So many software companies or CSRs that I've worked with in my company and other companies over the years, they don't want to tell you when something went bad. The best thing is you've got a company that's going to work with you, that's going to communicate with you when something's bad or when something's been done. The other thing, mutually managed expectations. And why do I say mutually managed expectations? There's a mutual trust between the vendor and the software provider. Most companies think, well, I'm paying you really good money, you should just do everything that I tell you to do. And that's not the relationship that anybody wants to be in these days. You want to have a good, solid relationship where it's a win-win. There's a saying that really good relationships are 100 or 0, 100. You expect 0 and you give 100%. And you've got to be willing to do that even with the vendors that you work with. The expectations are, what are they going to do for you? How are they going to do it? When are they going to do it? And is it going to get done? What are the expectations that you have of the software company? What are the expectations that they have with you? In one of my other videos, I talked about what should be in a compensation plan. That's a mutually managed expectation. What is the software going to deliver? Is it going to actually work with 10,000, 100,000, a million people? These are things that, there's lots of questions you need to ask, but you need to have good mutually managed expectations. Having a good help desk, a good CRM solution, a good support system, that's going to help you mutually manage expectations. And you should have a point-to-point contact, one person on your company and one person on the software company that they communicate, and then they disseminate that information down into their teams. That's a good working relationship. Here's something interesting. I was talking to one of the key industry MLM attorneys a couple days ago, and he said, Robert, the vision of what is in a MLM company's head of what the software should do and actually what the software does never comes into alignment. For some reason, vendors or MLM companies think that the software is going to do everything, and that when there's a problem, it's going to be able to solve instantly because, well, it's the internet and it's technology and it's the latest and the greatest. What you have in your head is never going to match what the software is actually going to do. Whether it's the shopping cart, if it's the back office, if it's the genealogy, if it's the reporting system, if it's how you're going to manage the website, it's never going to manage your expectations 100%. So make sure that you at least understand that, and understand that software is not the end-all, be-all to everything that you're going to do, and that it's going to be constantly growing. You know, if software wasn't constantly growing, we wouldn't have, I don't know, Microsoft 10, and we wouldn't have Chrome 11, and we wouldn't have, you know, multiple versions of MacBooks and multiple versions of you know, iPhone 10s. Technology changes. Understand that it's got to continue to change. Here's the number one reason you're going to leave an MLM software company. Commissions didn't calculate right. If you watch one of my previous videos, it talks about how a properly documented compensation plan should be done. And that's going to be the number one reason. The software can go down, the server can go down, support may not be answered, but if you don't pay your commissions on time, every time, and all the time accurately, you're going to leave that software company. That's why it's so important that before you launch your company, you spend 5 or 10 days testing the commission engine. That's the number one reason that you're going to leave that software company, because they didn't get the commissions calculated in the right time. You know, like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've helped over 1,000 companies. I've probably looked at over 2,000 different compensation plans. If you think I can help you with your company, the expectations, what to look for in an MLM software company, do me a favor. My phone number is on this page. Give me a shout. There's a form here with my email. Fill out the form and send it. And if you got some value from this video today, do me a favor. Like it, share it, let some others know. And hey, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.